Hi there folks, welcome back to the Flyfishstore YouTube channel. I'm Jim, welcome back onto Eyebrook. We're now at that point of the year when we're coming into September when there's a lot of these daddies landing on the water. It's one of those things that the trout just go mad for. All you need is a bit of a ripple, chuck these things out there, the fish are going to come up and have a look. So we're going to have a little bit of a dabble, go through some of the different techniques of using them, and let's see if we can put a few fish in the boat. To start us off today, I'm going to be fishing a combination of daddies with a dial back, right? So I have a yellow foam daddy on my top dropper. As I come down the leader, little size 12 flashback dial back, and then onto the point. We've got the natural coloured foam daddy. Right, so before I begin, I'll then use some fully milled mud. There are other varieties out there for sale, but this is one of the ones that I prefer myself. So all we have to do is put a little bit of that on our fingers and then we run it over the copolymer line that we're using. Right, main reason for using that is to take a bit of the shine off that. It does help that line just cut through the surface film. That way it doesn't spook any of the fish when they come up to have a look at the fly. Right. As I mentioned before, we'll be using copolymer line. I'm using 8.2 pounds. I like to fish a little bit heavier, but depending on your setup, you could possibly get away with some lighter stuff out there. So, as it is, once I've gone through and rubbed the mud all over my line, just to degrease it, I'll then use a floatant such as the Loon Aquel to actually make sure the flies that are supposed to float will actually float. Now after a period of time they will become a bit waterlogged, they will get dragged under the surface. So in order to then drag all the moisture out of those and then get them back up into the surface, you can use a couple of things like Top Ride. It's one of my favourites, or the blue ribbon. Basically it draws all that moisture out of the fly and then it's a case of blow off all the powder and then just add a little bit of the Loon Aquel as required. So as I've cast out now, all I'm really doing now is picking up the slack on my line. I'm keeping an eye on my flies. I'm not casting too far, maybe about 3 rod lengths. That way, if anything moves out in front of me, I can then just quickly give my line a couple of pulls, lift off the water, give those flies a quick shake off, and then lay them down in front of the fish. It's always a bit of a concentration game, but sometimes they'll come, sometimes they won't. Sometimes it's a waiting game and it'll just come out of nowhere. Now we know there's actual fish in this area. It's just trying to get them to be tempted to come up and have a go. I've just taken a fish there as I was just drifting round. And you can actually see there's fish just under the surface, swimming everywhere here. So that's me just at the edge of the ripple. I'd cast out at an angle, and as the boat's drifting, the line been sliding round, I've just seen a little swirl round about where my fly was. I tightened the line up and the fish was there. Big thing with fishing the likes of dry flies, a lot of people strike far too early. Sometimes it's best if you see it take, give it a count, 2, 3, and then just gently pull into it. There we go. So, little foam daddy in the surface. He's just come up and sucked that straight off the surface. We've taken care of him, nursed him, dropped in it. Off he goes for another lucky angler to catch at a later date, or maybe even later today. I think a £2 trout, pound for pound, will fight harder than any carp you catch, especially on light fly gear. I prefer a bit of rain actually, because, well, with a bit of rain you just have to put the right clothes on and you can still go out and do what you want. Sunshine, you get burnt to bits. It's just, especially when it's hot, it's just miserable. You know? All you can do is eat ice cream to get rid of it. You're like, oh. Well, it doesn't sound so bad now. And he absolutely walloped that. I think he's actually taking the nymph in between. Or it might be that foam daddy on the point. Right. I'm just keeping pressure on the rod. I'm trying to keep him round the front of the boat so he doesn't go into the prop. And he's off. Now, you might actually be surprised by the size of this fish when we get it. It might not be the biggest fish in the world, but they definitely give a good account of themselves. Right, and it's taking the nymph in between while I've just been... Oh! Well, played him a little bit too hard, so that's one of the things with barbless hooks. I've had my little bit of fun. He's got away scot-free. He's beaten me this time. I'll get him next time. For the crane flies, they're actually active all year round, but it's mainly in the autumn time, the end of August, getting into September, start of October. It's generally when they're most at the prolific. So I've had some individuals who actually think that they're an aquatic species, that they emerge out of the water. That's incorrect. They're actually land-based, so they actually lay their eggs in the soil, and from that, their larvae are called leather jackets, and I missed that. But those little leather jackets, they feed on the roots of plants and grass, and then they'll emerge, obviously, as the adult crane fly, or the daddy as we all know them. So once they've emerged, they come out as like a brown, sort of grey, tannish colour, but there are a variation of colours from these fish, from flies, because there are about 300 different species of them. Easy ways to identify the difference between the males and females. The males have actually got a blunt end on them, whereas the females have got a pointed end, and that's for them laying their eggs once they've been fertilised. So So I've just missed one. That's the thing, a lot of the times when you're fishing the likes of dry flies and stuff, the fish will rush up with its mouth open, but because its eyes are on both sides of its head, they can't see directly what's in front of it. Sometimes they'll just miss. Just seen a fish rising out in front of me, so see if we can get a little bit of a reaction there, because I know there's fish in the area. And there we go. And he came right up out of nowhere and absolutely hammered it, and he's well on. Just trying to, should come up past your side of the boat. You'll probably get, oh, look at that, very acrobatic. That's one of the great things about fishing for trout. You don't really get that with a lot of other species. I'd say the only other thing that's as exciting as that is when you catch pike and they go tail walking. And he's a good old fish. There we go. Oh! I nearly hooked a live daddy with my top dropper there. He's still not ready. Another quick run. Try to get the head up, and he's away again. He's still not ready. Stand up, give myself a bit more leverage, get the head up. And as soon as you get the head up and he's tired, can't run anymore, scoop him up into the net, quickly unhook him, just dip the net, and off to fight another day. If you're looking at coming down to Eyebrook, having a great day out in the water, enjoy some of our great top of the water sport, give us a call on 01536 770 264. Either myself or one of the members of staff will get you booked in, and we'll go through what sort of things have been happening lately and try and give you as much information as possible so you can have a good day when you're out on the water.
Man, what's your best fly fishing joke? Hit me with your best fly fishing joke today, Jim.
I don't have fly fishing jokes. I take this very, very seriously.